get started with our first panel discussion for today. And let me introduce you to the topic. It is e-governance initiatives, lessons learned, and the way forward for citizen-centric approach. I would like to introduce you to the moderator, Ms. Madhumita Mohapatra, partner Deloitte India. Can we welcome ma'am with a round of applause? Quickly, let me introduce you to all the panelists. We have Mr. Pratap Singh, IRS Principal Commissioner, Income Tax Department, Government of India. We have Dr. Chandra Mohan B, IAS Principal Secretary to Government Public Works Department, Government of Tamil Nadu. We have Mr. Naveen Mittal, IAS Principal Secretary, Land Revenue and Registrations, Government of Telangana. We have Mr. 𝗗𝗶𝗶𝗶𝗃 𝗵𝗃, IAS Principal Secretary, Department of Science and Technology, Government of Madhya Pradesh. I would also like to invite Mr. 𝗖𝗿𝗶𝗶𝗃 𝗂𝗏𝗂𝗃, IAS Principal Secretary, Department of Panchayat Raj and Rural Development, Government of Telangana. We have Ms. Revati Kumar, CEO and Executive Director, Goa Electronics Limited. Mr. Yeshwanth V. Gurukar, IAS Executive Director, Center for Smart Governance, Government of Karnataka. Mr. Manohar Raja, IRSSE Principal Executive Director, RailTel Corporation of India. We have Mr. Raveesh Reddy, Vice President, Sales and Partnerships, Quixy. We also have Mr. Gagandeep Nanda, Sales Director, Government of Zscaler. So yes, introduce you to the topic and the panelists. We have a moderator here with us. Without any further ado, I would hand it over to you. It's a 15 minutes panel discussion. Ma'am, I would prompt you 5 minutes before.
So I think we have our panelists, esteemed panelists on stage. Welcome you all. Indeed, very, very happy and honored to be conducting this panel. And I know we are a little bit strapped for time, and I'm sure that we will try and make sure we gather all your very relevant points of views, and that's why we are here. But I would restrict it probably, if you could capture your points of view in 4 to 5 minutes, and then we go on to the next panel member. But given that this is such an important topic, I think it is such a crucial aspect of our nation's progress, the e-governance initiatives. And in India's journey has been remarkable, as has been marked by initiatives like Digital India. And this really provides for us a beacon of hope in actually bridging the digital divide amongst, in a country like ours, where there is a lot of disparity. And we have heard from very eminent speakers in the morning. We heard from Sri Jitendra Pal, where he talked about initiatives like the passport verification services, which have made it so easy right now in crunching timelines. We've heard from Mr. Amitabh on Bhashini, which is such a spectacular DPG, which has enabled voice and language transcribing through this kind of a solution, which has enabled, again, people at the grassroots to engage and interact with various government organizations and make their life and time more worthwhile. So, with the esteemed panel we have today to discuss how we can embrace e-governance initiatives wholeheartedly and leverage the power of technology to build a more responsive, transparent, and inclusive governance systems. So, sir, we will start with the first, discussion point in terms of what does the term citizen-centric services approach mean in the context of e-governance in India, and how does it differ? Chandramohan, sir, for you. Did I catch you unawares? I'm very sorry about that. We need a mic, please. So I will repeat the question for your benefit. So, sir, my question to you was, what does the term citizen-centric approach mean in the context of e-governance in India, and how does it differ from the traditional government services?
Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank the organizers for this wonderful opportunity. Governance is about people. It's about the interface between people and government. Governance is about creating infrastructure, delivering services, regulating various players, maintaining law and order, etc. Traditionally, these interfaces have been pretty complex, have been driven mostly by brick and mortar, pen and paper kind of interfaces. Now, slowly but surely, governments are transforming into a digital interface, and this has made a huge difference. I don't know, I can give some use cases?
Absolutely.
Yeah. In my previous posting, I was looking after tourism and religious endowments. As all of you know, the gods of India and the realm of Hinduism, they all reside in Tamil Nadu. And Tamil Nadu has this unique distinction that government oversees almost 46,000 temples. No other state has that many temples. And government has this onerous responsibility of overseeing. I am using the words carefully, not managing, overseeing. What exactly does that mean? It essentially means that every day, almost 25 to 30 lakh people come for darshan to all these temples. How is it that you can make these people feel better? How can their darshan, how can their worship be made a seamless experience is a challenge that we turn to digital technologies to make possible. There are certain temples where people have to wait for 6 to 8 hours. So that is not necessarily a good experience. There are old people, there are women with children, there are pregnant women, there are disabled people. So different kinds of people come, and where they want to connect with the divine, if the experience is very bad, it does make for a very suboptimal experience. So what did we do? We brought in a website called Integrated Temple Management System, where from a public focus point of view, this person could identify the temple he wants to go to, the day he wants to go to, if he wants to buy a ticket for a seva or for a special entry darshan, he can do everything online. And then on that particular day, if he is there at that particular time, everything gets taken care of smoothly, and his communion with the divine is so much more better. This is one small thing that has transformed faith. Normally we say science and faith don't go together, but in this instance, faith has been transformed by digital technologies.
I think that's an amazing example of how these can actually transform a citizen-centric service and transform an experience that one is so looking forward to. But all of this doesn't come without its challenges. There is a lot of issue in terms of maybe proper digital infrastructure that is put in place. There is also the issue of last mile connectivity, which could be cited as a challenge, and of course digital literacy. And unspoken, but spoken, I will speak about it, is also a change in hands. So we launch citizen-centric, a great initiative in e-governance, but then again there is a change in a bureaucrat who is taking that forward, or a government which has suddenly changed, and then we see it falling through the cracks. So ma'am, a question to you now on the challenges. What would you foresee as some of the challenges faced by e-governance initiatives in India in adapting a citizen-centric approach, and how can they be addressed?
Good afternoon, everyone. Before I answer, a big thank you to the GovConnect and iLounge Media. I think Raman Mishra and particularly Fahim and team, you guys are really doing a great job by getting all of us on this, forum and allowing us to share this knowledge with each one of you all here. Coming to your question, dear. See, I think as a government, we all have reached that maturity now where AI, ML, and these technologies are no more like, in the woods. We have understood that they have entered the governance. We have understood their relevance to the government. And even in state like mine, I come from Goa, where our economy rests on two major pillars, that is mines and tourism. From pattern recognition in the mines and understanding whether it is in tune with the environmental changes or no using AI, to understanding what are the preferences and choices of the tourists coming into the state, whether it's a Russian or whether it is a Hyderabadi. Does he really like still coming to Goa and having a Hyderabadi biryani or something else? So to this minute level, I think in Goa or across, we've had good use cases. I'll just take a minute to tell you that the most recent thing we did in Goa was the 𝗗𝗄𝗃 project, which is a revenue management, total data analytics platform, where we have got 100 data sets plus, 100 plus data sets of 40 plus departments, and analysis on varied accounts have come in, which is not only helping in policy making, but the best thing about this platform is that we have been able to identify pilferages to the tune of 40 crores in the state. And our target is by December, we want to touch 100. So if a state like Goa, whose budget revolves around 27,000 crores, if we are able to save around 40 crores, so I think we have arrived as far as AI is concerned, data is concerned, analytics is concerned. But challenges, of course, in this project itself, two challenges that we faced as a state PSU in implementing this whole system. Legacy systems are not devised for the latest technologies. What I mean by that is the data structuring, the data that is available in the varied departments are not easily adaptable to the AI ML engines. You need to really put in efforts to clean it, to structure it, and to bring it to a point where the engine is able to learn from it. So what we did as a mistake was that we didn't actually put in or plan for these efforts extensively, which we had to then do it later on. Second thing I think we all are facing across the country when it comes to AI and all of these new technologies is that the laws are trying to catch up with the advances that are happening. Right. These technologies are so rapidly growing and every day is new. Of course, the Data Protection and the Data Privacy Act is in place, but still, and specifically in the governance, it is such a dual-sworded walk that you want to get in the best of the use cases, but then you have to be sure that the data is not compromised in any manner because citizens' data is in our custody, and we have to be sure that we are not allowing any misuse of that. So I think we'll sum it up to say that AI or these new technologies are nothing magic wands, or it's nothing magical. It's only a team of all professionals, technology, of course, governance, legal experts, all of these guys coming together and training the engine well will ensure a robust and good AI solution coming out of the.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Very pertinent points. And yes, challenges highlighted very well and some very, very amazing stories for Goa. It makes Goa that much more attractive for us. So, sir, this is to you, Mr. Yeshwanth Gurukar, who is Executive Director for Smart Governance Center in Karnataka. And we would like to understand a little bit more around best practices and the success stories in the various government initiatives. So, sir, the question to you is, how can governments in India ensure that their e-governance initiatives are responsive to the needs and expectations of their citizens?
So, firstly, thank you for the organizers for the wonderful event they put together. So, how can e-governance, I'll start with an diabolically different statement. There's a saying that India is a graveyard for e-governance projects. Why I say this is, so Karnataka being the forefront of e-governance initiative, especially starting with Bhumi, every citizen-centric e-governance project will make some people redundant in the government structure. For example, when we started with Bhumi, the ability, the powers of a village accountant to a large extent was curbed. You know, if you wanted to get a khata of your land, the land belongs to whom, people had to run around the village accountant. Now you can sit at any point of, you can open up an app, you can drop a latitude, longitude, and you'll get the owner, who is the owner of that. So to that extent, the powers of that person is taken over. So there is a lot of sense of entitlement which is built in the institutions, which prevent us in, which would prevent the change from happening over. Having said that, still it is a matter of time that the project succeeds with the right people and right this thing. So Karnataka, for example, if you take up the registration department, what we have done already is we have already digitized, we have the Kaveri 2, which is a flagship program which earns the government around 25,000 crore. It has enabled the citizens to enter all the registration details. It did not go to the sub-registrar office, wait there for a couple of hours, you know, be treated very badly, get a scar in his life, you know, once you visit a government institution. So such things don't happen. We made it like passport, like you just need to come there for a couple of minutes, so that because in the act it is mandatory that KYC is mandatory. So you need to present there, be present there, get your registration gets over in 15 minutes. And this was from 6 hours, 7 hours previously to this software to now 15 minutes. And even the valuation also, the citizen has a say in what is the valuation. He can contest the valuation of the sub-registrar. So we try to empower that. We try to empower marriage certificates now. You don't need to go to the sub-registrar office. You can upload all the details of your marriage. And the sub-registrar just generates the certificate and you can just download sitting at your home. No, so each point, right? Each point we're cutting the interaction of the citizen and the government agent, whoever is there, because in many cases that interaction is very painful and it is one-sided. So we're trying to cut down on that. So but what would, like I was saying, some solutions. What would happen if I build a solution like this? Probably the network will not be working at the sub-registrar office, even though there's nothing wrong in the network. The network is not working in the sub-registrar office. So how do I detect that? So how do I detect, for a person who comes in, the person at the last mile will say, the network is not working. Even though the network is fine entirely, because he has a sense of entitlement which has to be fulfilled. I'm using the better wording here, right? So probably that is where we have to, you know, go on building up additional solutions to finally render it to a down level. At the bottom level, just building a solution or doing it would not ensure that a project would be successful.
Right.
Now we have Shakti scheme wherein all the women can get into the bus freely, travel anywhere. So we're trying to build a solution wherein we'll give them an identifier, an RF card or something. As soon as they get into the bus, the system will identify that they've got into the bus, and as soon as they get out, the system will identify they got out. So the distance traveled will be billed for the for that person, right? So instead of, you know, the conductor point of interaction being with the conductor and the woman, or in many cases the conductor would have given them the ticket, the finance department will say we'll not accept this because, you know, we don't trust our own transport department. So this technology is where is going to help in bridging that gap. So I would say we also have university unified admission system, which is the first in the state of any state in India to implement all the admissions, or all the across, starting from admission, affiliation, or for exams, or through one platform. So it is a seamless experience for a student, whether he is changing his college or so and so. But still, at the ground level, there would be certain interests would not allow it to happen. So that would be the one challenge. So that challenge can be overcome by bringing in better solutions. So I think industry here should help us the government out. And so I was just seeing the Juniper presentation wherein they were saying they were able to tell me where the network is actually broken. So if that is the one solution, I thought we can put it in Kaveri 2, so that I can call out the sub-registrar if he's saying that the network is not working, right? So I think, and as Madam said, that Karnataka also has a curse that we being the first to do everything. We have a lot of legacy systems. And now we want to change that legacy systems. It's very tough. People are entrenched into it. They start the ownership sometimes starts to mimic to a sense of entitlement. Right?
True.
So, thank you.
Thank you so much. That was interesting to note. And yes, Karnataka has always claimed to be the first in taking forward many, many initiatives. And I think we all learn from all of those. But I think what is important is any initiative is as successful as how you evaluate and keep monitoring and bettering the systems to ensure there's an effective outcome at the end. So, sir, my next question is to you, Mr. Srivastava. 𝗗𝗶𝗴𝗶𝗃𝗃 IAS, he is Principal Secretary, Science and Technology, Government of MP. So, sir, I wanted to understand from you what metrics or indicators can be used to assess the effectiveness of e-governance initiatives in India in terms of their citizen centricity, and how can these be monitored and evaluated? Oh, I think I probably might have, because there's been some shift, sir. Sir, if you could please answer, sir. No. Sir. Sir, please go ahead. Yes.
So, can you please repeat the question?
Yes, sir. Sorry for this. I think there's been some dropouts and there's been shifts in the panel members. So, sir, my question is, what metrics or indicators can be used to assess the effectiveness of e-governance initiatives in India in terms of their citizen centricity?
Thank you, Madhumita ji, and good afternoon, everyone. Thanks, organizers, iLog Media, Raman ji, Mr. Fahim, and everyone. See, satisfaction is to be judged by the people. So if the people are happy, people are satisfied, that is the biggest certification of the government services. The government has done great things in last few years, but a lot more is needed to be done. So the experience is always mixed. So I'll give experience from my own department, and of course from in general the people, like day-to-day services, people have to avail from the government. So many a times when people visit a government office, maybe for driving license, maybe for registration, a common scene is server down hai. This server down is very major problem. Right. So my colleague, we have done phenomenal things in the government. Like I worked in Karnataka, so hats off to my colleagues in Karnataka government. They have been pioneer in inducting technology. Maharashtra I worked, so Maharashtra also people have done great things. Now you see, as far as digital technology is concerned, we are already a superpower. We are globally recognized, and in our recently held this G20 conference, our Prime Minister said that whatever these digital public goods we have developed, we want to share with other countries. Recently, in the month of March, India had highest digital transactions in the world. See, 13 billion kind of transactions.
Yes.
You imagine, the next country was China. As against 13, China has 2.6 billion transactions. US and other country was lower down the order. So we have done phenomenal things as far as digital payment is concerned. Aadhaar, again, a fantastic thing we have done. Aadhaar, like giving digital identity to, let's say, 140 crore or 142 crore kind of people, is a phenomenal thing. CoWIN, this COVID app, he was talking, Trizen developed that app. CoWIN is a fantastic app. I think one of the best in the world, probably maybe the best also. Now, the satisfaction of people is very, very important, and what is needed to be done, the people who are manning these systems, the government officers at senior level, at middle level, at junior level, their responsiveness, if somebody is coming to them. Just other day, somebody called me up from Bangalore because I worked in Bangalore. He said, I have received a FCRA, like a renewal, but bank statement is incorrect. Now, he was trying for last 3-4 months, and then somehow they tried to reach, they knew me. Then I tried to reach initially to Undersecretary, then to Deputy Secretary, and finally when I was not able to contact any one of them, so I went to the head Joint Secretary, and I requested Mrs. Joshi, okay, please look into it. This is the organization which works for disabled children, so they are doing a great job, so can we help them out? So this kind of things keep happening in government, and government has to constantly sort of like reform and improve and keep listening to the people, what are the sounds coming from the down below. Now I'll come to my department.
Sir, that is what I was going to ask you, sir.
So I'll come to the income tax experience. See, when I joined the government long back sometime in 1991, we used to do the entire work in physical mode. So there used to be huge queues, so you will know it better. People are coming to file tax return close to due date, and we were not able to manage those people within the office complex, so we used to go out, used to organize in some park or a school or some ground. Now today you see, this is the power of technology. Today nobody need to come to income tax office to file tax return or for tax payment or tax assessment. So this is the power of technology that this government has been able to do. So when I joined, we used to handle around somewhere around 77 lakh kind of tax return, and our tax revenue was close to 10-12,000 crore. Now today, in terms of tax returns, we are handling 8.2 crore kind of tax returns, and effective taxpayers over 10 crore, and tax revenue almost 20 lakh crore from direct taxes. So ratio, but the work we are doing in like 1/20th of time. So on average, now our processing period is somewhere around 15-16 days, which we propose to reduce, to somewhere around 10 days. So almost ratio of 200 over 200 ratio in terms of time and efficiency, which we are able to do with the help of technology. Now, what are the good things department was able to do? You must have heard about these pre-filled returns. Right. Now, pre-filled return is such a noble concept. See, the moment you are logging in, into the income tax website, your entire thing, what is your income from salary, what is your income from interest or dividend, that comes pre-populated, and what taxes have been deducted or paid by you. And only thing you need to do is you check those data, and if it is correct, just submit. So matter ends there. You need not go to anybody and anyone, but we need to improve upon this thing further. So we can't stop it here. Another thing we have done is e-verification portal. So most of you guys must be aware of these things. Now what is e-verification portal? Let's say at the time of filing your tax return, there was a mistake, there was an error. So at times, on most of the occasions, it is innocent kind of thing you could not see. So we did two things for this. One is front loading of information, whatever information is coming to the department from various sources, from employers, from banks, from registrar of societies, the stock exchanges. So all those information we process in the form of this 26 AS. And 26 AS we share with the person before the due date of the return. So this is front loading of information. Please have a look at it before you filing your tax return, and consider whatever income is shown. So even after that, if there is a mistake, error, at times happens, a consultant is filing tax return on behalf of a person. So e-verification we process is through computer, so there is no human interface. And if there is an error in that, so we send a message as also mail, okay, please have a look at it, this is the discrepancy. And if the person rectifies, the matter ends there. So the action in terms of issuing notices, etc., or further action assessment kind of work, it happens at much later stage. So what it does, it reduces the unnecessary dispute, and it establishes trust. We are talking about this thing, how to build trust and how to create satisfaction among the people. Finally, the government is like to make life of its citizen and the life of its taxpayers better, comfortable. So this is the purpose. Now, another thing I'll mention is, because I've already taken a few minutes more, this grievance redressal mechanism. This is very, very good. Outstanding, all governments, the state governments are doing in their own way. And central government has created a very good, robust system called CP-Gram. So online you file your grievance, all across departments it is applicable. Then within our department, we have created a mechanism which is called 𝗖𝗗𝗃. 𝗖𝗗𝗃, again, like a computerized kind of system, you can file your grievance. And online it is monitored by the senior people. So all these things are very good steps, including this e-assessment or faceless assessment you call. So these are futuristic initiatives. But as I say, a lot more is needed to be done. And 2-3 things I would like to mention to the technology companies. We had very nice presentations. See, a lot of economic activity is happening in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. Now, we need to see what kind of solutions, what kind of problems the people are facing, and what kind of solutions they need. So we need to move away from cities like Bangalore, Delhi, and Mumbai to the rural areas. And of course, my colleague in state governments, see the people in rural areas, villages, like somebody may not be literate, he may not be computer savvy. So how does he or she really accesses that government benefits, government services and all that? This direct benefit transfer, etc. is a fantastic thing, very good futuristic thing. But still a lot of people struggle in terms of, we call this BPL card, and a lot of other services from government end is available. So still some kind of like human intervention is required, and on and off people must be coming to all of us with all kind of requests. And so we have to have that kind of soft corner to the people. And we are on the right track as a country. We are doing good. But as I say, a lot more is needed to be done. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. So I think from there on, we should look out for what is the future direction and recommendations that, sir, I'm looking at you, Mr. Manohar Raja, who is Executive Director of RailTel, for his point of view on what are some of the emerging trends and technologies that can support the development of more citizen-centric services and e-governance initiatives in India.
Good afternoon, everybody. The question is quite loaded in the sense that we had a whole session in the morning about technology and we have to start there again. I think from a citizen-centric perspective, as AI, especially agentic AI, if we start developing those things, I think it will become extremely citizen-centric, and a citizen doesn't have to go and even reach out to the authorities or to the portals. The system can recognize, understand what are the beneficiaries, and then take action. At the same time, from the government side, I think it will really empower. We see across the political spectrum, there's a lot of keenness to deliver programs and actions and everything. A lot of visibility and observability is required. I think there also, the data, you will find that systems will be created which, like my panelist said, it will take away the powers of a lot of discretion powers in the system, and it will speed up the process where for delivery and visibility, especially trackability of these things will happen. And I think this can happen very, very, very quickly. But I think another vector which will impact our future is data privacy. And that, how exactly it's going to implement our approach to all these AI programs and other programs is something which we need to think through, especially as from a government practitioner perspective, is going to completely impact our budgets, our estimates and everything. We have to think through, it will be a very different zero-level understanding we need to have. I was very enthused to see the morning presentation where they had this thought about data privacy also in their project delivery in MP. But I think this will become more sensitive. What are the questions we don't know yet? Suppose data is used and you build AI models. After that, if consent is withdrawn, it is already there as part of the AI model. How do we govern those kind of issues? Those things are there. But still, I think on the positive side, we have enormous repositories of data. And if we can leverage that carefully and with the right guardrails, we can not only build technology for ourselves, but I think probably considering the diversity which we have, we can build technology for the world. For example, RailTel has done the digitization of about 700 railway hospitals. We have about 2 crore subscriptions since we last did it about a couple of years. And every day we have 40,000, 50,000 patients and subscriptions happening. It's a very high quality data across India, where sample sizes across India. I'm sure if this data is appropriately privacy engineered, this can help all the entire industry. It can help a lot of startups from getting good insights, the pharmacy supply chain, and every other things are connected with human health. So I think this is the kind of data which we sit on. We have to figure out how we can unlock that. And I think that is what in the next in short future, these are the problems which are going to be in way with soothsayers of technology as well as the policymakers. And this is what I think is an exciting time to be for us.
Thank you so much for that. I think my next question would be in terms of how can we effectively get citizens' engagements and participation. So to you, Mr. Raveesh Reddy from Quixy, he's a sales and vice president for Quixy. So I was just talking about how we should be, e-governance initiatives are meant to be inclusive. So what steps that we could take to ensure that these initiatives are inclusive and accessible to people with disabilities and other vulnerable groups in the country?
Yeah, I'll try to address that question, maybe not very specific to what industry that I'm looking at, but thank you very much for this opportunity. Like Sir said, in Karnataka, they do the applications development in-house through the nodal agency, that's the Center for Smart Governance, and also in Telangana, there are two models, right? They either work with through PMUs or through work with in-house teams that you're trying to build. When such aspects of how to make this inclusive for certain people of disabilities, or it always helps when you have built those applications throughout and end-to-end through the in-house teams. And when you have, like Dilip also said, it's not just human, it's human plus your engine. So when human is trying to build, the in-house teams are trying to build, when they have the right tools with them from the industry. So it has to be a combination of the humans who are actually trying to do for the states, like the developers, and the engine can actually help them try to make these applications inclusive. So it's a combination of both human and engine who can actually get these things done. And like I said, making them inclusive with everybody's our mobile users now. They're all WhatsApp users. There's not much required from their side to understand more about technology to be able to use it, but make it more intuitive. The industry practices from the private sector will actually help the PMUs or the nodal agencies who are trying to work within the states to make this inclusive.
Absolutely,
so that's, yeah.
Absolutely. So my question to you, Gagandeep, is then, we have discussed, there were very interesting points of view that were made. There are a lot of initiatives that the government has taken, even the private sector is working alongside, hand in hand with the government to ensure that these citizen-centric services are being delivered rightly and effectively so. So could you summarize for us some of the key takeaways from this discussion and how it can be applied in the future?
So Zscaler today is working with the enterprise, all the top-notch banks, HDFC, ICICI are on Zscaler. We are working with Mighty, MHA, a lot of places. See, one common thing, Revati ma'am said, Nikun sir said, no, Nikunjani Pratap sir said, a lot of key panelists said that, see, when the application, someone at the top decides that this is the new scheme which needs to be launched, right? The reason could be political, reason could be bureaucratic, reason can be anything, right? And believe me, we are working with so many government agencies and the schemes are always launched. That's not a problem. And in very right time, because there is a pressure that you have to launch a new application. Take an example, COVID. COVID is a beautiful example. Within 2 weeks, the application was launched, right? So when it comes to launch, it's done. But what we have seen from the enterprise side is, from the private industry, that the governments, if application can be categorized in two broad categories, revenue generating and non-revenue generating. When it comes to revenue generating, the way the application is designed, the way the application is implemented at the ground mile, like take an example, income tax, right, which is a revenue generating. Every aspect is taken care. For example, how the application will be secured. Which database, it's a technical thing. Application is just designed, but at the core, which database to be used on which the application should be ported, so that this problem doesn't come, scalability.
Right.
You will not feel this or face this challenge when you are filing your return, that the income tax website is really down. Why? Because these things have been taken care, because the revenue is getting generated. But when it comes to rest of the schemes, what I have seen is applications are designed, implemented beautifully, but because of the bandwidth issue, resources issue, budget issue, whatever it could be, a lot of things sometimes get bypassed. How the security is taken care inbuilt. That's the reason ma'am said, sir said, you walk into any government department and server down hai. That is the problem. Because when the design was happening, it was not taken care that this application will not be used by 1 lakh user, will be used by maybe 1 crore user.
Right.
You haven't designed in such a way. So my take is that government is doing awesome, but while developing all these applications, digital transformation to end connectivity, right? Because users are sitting at the home now. They are not coming to your office, you are going to their home. So the scalability, security, application infrastructure, modernization, everything needs to be taken care. So that's the nutshell before we enter this panel.
Thank you so much, Gagandeep. I think it was well summarized and really took into account all of what was said. I think we have done very well in terms of time. I still haven't received a warning from you. So given that, since we have 5 minutes on hand, I just wanted to throw it open to the audience in case they had any questions for this very, very eminent panel over here. And we probably would want to hear from them. So any questions? We have 5 minutes time.
I think everyone is hungry. That's the reason we also finished quickly.
Bas mein one thing more I would like to say for the benefit of the people. See, we have a lot of databases. So Aadhaar is one beautiful database. The Election Commission has got its database. Income tax has got PAN database, and GST, and state governments, health departments, so on and so forth. Now the question is, there is a need of linking these databases, and somehow the government authorities are very touchy with a lot of difficulties. We are able to make some kind of coordination with GSTN. So GSTN and we are part of the same central ministry. But still it took us a lot of time. In the similar way, we can exchange, like say state government to central government, state government to state government, one authority to another authority. So it will help us in much better way to serve the people, to deliver the services, as also to track various kind of other activities in terms of mobilization of taxes or capturing economic activities, even criminal data, etc. So it will be very useful. So some kind of integration, subject to, of course, the rules and government norms, etc. Thank you.
I think very well said. Chandramohan sir, would you want to give us your viewpoints on this?
Thank you so much. I think traditionally, I think governments have sort of waited for people to approach it before providing any services. Turning this paradigm on its head is a new initiative by the government of Tamil Nadu, which is called the People's Portal or the Makkal Portal. What it essentially does is what Pratap was saying, sort of it brings together in one place linked databases which sort of give a complete detail of each family. So last time the Tamil Nadu government actually came up with a scheme of Urimai Togai. That means you have a right to some universal basic income. So when they did that, all that they did was they took the applications and no field visits were involved. Everything was centrally processed. They fed in the details into the central database. The eligibility criterion were set and it spewed out a list of names which were eligible. Only in those cases where people were not found eligible and they had applied and appealed, only their field verification was taken care of. Now they want to go one step ahead, and if you have a particular welfare scheme, you sort of feed the criterion into this database. It will spew out a list as to who is eligible to partake of it. So this again is some kind of government reaching out to people rather than people reaching out to government. And this has all been made possible because of technology. And the possibilities, I must say, are endless. Thank you.
I agree, the possibilities are endless, and this indeed is a beacon of hope that we have. I think these initiatives have revolutionized the way the government and services are being delivered. It is making them now more accessible, efficient, and very transparent. So thank you so much, panelists. Really appreciate your time, and I hope the audience has enjoyed as much as I have in talking to all of them and hearing from them. Thank you so much. And I think special note of thanks for the fact that we kept in time. Yes. Very efficient team. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Thanks to the moderator and all the panelists. I think that was exceptional. We are in control of time, and that was a wonderful elocution. So thank you so much. Yes, she's kept it quite crisp and still has summarized everything that was to be discussed. So thank you so much, ma'am. And we would like to felicitate the moderator and all the panelists. To do the honors, I would request Mr. 𝗗𝗶𝗴𝗶𝗁𝗶 from Trigen Technologies to please join us on the stage. Can we get a round of applause, please? Thank you. Yes, so we would now like to felicitate the moderator, Ms. Madhumita Mohapatra. Thank you so much, ma'am. We would now like to felicitate Mr. Pratap Singh. We would also like to thank Dr. Chandra Mohan. We also thank Mr. Naveen Mittal. We would also like to thank Mr. Sandeep Kumar. We would also like to thank Mr. Yeshwanth V. Gurukar. Thank you so much for your insights, sir. We thank Ms. Revati Kumar. We also thank Mr. K. Manohar Raja. We also thank Mr. Raveesh Reddy. Last but not the least, we would also like to thank Mr. Gagandeep Nanda. Thank you so much all the panelists and the moderator. Yes, let us all please step a foot forward for a group photograph. It's a moment to be captured. Thank you so much for a wonderful presentation. The first presentation, the first panel discussion of a digital transformation conclave 2.0. Thank you so much, everyone.